sections went by, and if you haven't seen them, you will be missing a big part on Dasha Chidra, the remedies associated with it, and how can you save yourself from a lot of trouble at the end of a Dasha. So we move on to this third segment, and over to you, Vishti. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So like you said, we have covered two important sections on the topic of Dasha Chidra, taking it elaborately first from singular Chidra to elaborate 3 Dasha comparison of Chidra.
Right.
And why we do so, and where is the classical authority for that, so that we weren't just making it up ourselves, and how to examine it, and my research on the effects and the remedy, very importantly, and why that remedy, and the whole philosophy behind what is the problem of Dasha Chidra. And so now I am given the opportunity, having in our last section and session to have spoken on these variations of Vimshottari. They were called Janma, which is what everybody uses. Janma Vimshottari from the moon's nakshatra.
Right.
Then Kshema Vimshottari, starting from the 4th star from the moon. Right. Same Vimshottari, just starting from the 4th star from the moon. Right. Then we have Utpana, starting from the 5th star from the moon, and the Adana, starting from the 8th star from the moon. So that gives me the means to introduce some principles that are deeply from the tradition. Okay?
Okay.
Namely, there are these variations of Vimshottari, how to figure out which one to use when, and what does it mean. Okay? And so I prepared some slides on this, which I'll share now. And so here we are. And I've drawn a nice chart here. Okay, and try to depict the theme or the idea behind the variation of the dasha. So what we have, before we look at this chart, we have the tradition has 4 types of dasha. Okay, right. The tradition, actually, I'm supposed to say that this slide is about what did Jataka Parijata say, what about those 4 variations of Vimshottari that he spoke about, and what is the tradition, what is the tradition's philosophy or principles behind these. So depending on the house placement of the moon, different types of Vimshottari Dasha arise.
Right.
Jataka Parijata didn't tell us when to use which. He just said compare 3 of them. He didn't say that one of them could be more prominent in a specific chart than another. He didn't mention that. Okay? And especially in a topic like Dasha Chidra, I have to speak about which one of these dashas you should examine the Dasha Chidra in. Is it all of them, or is there one which is more important for you to examine?
Okay.
All right? Because otherwise, I could leave a person with saying, goodness, Visti, maybe 4, maybe 5 types of Dasha. All the Chidras are happening every 2 years. They're going to be busy doing remedies all the time. Okay? And I'll say, no, that's not the idea. We have already done. I showed what to do to figure out Dasha Chidra.
Right.
In 3 examples. Then I said, compare 3 dashas. Everybody must compare those 3 dashas.
Right.
They were Utpana, Kshema, Adana. We compared those. And we saw if they coincided. Okay? And now I want to sort of take us back to the beginning, where I said we should examine Dasha Chidra, how to examine it. But in those examples, I only used Janma Vimshottari.
Okay.
And there's a reason I did only use Janma Vimshottari. Okay?
Right.
So depending on the house placement of the moon, we have different types of Vimshottari which are arising. So your moon house, not the sign, the moon house is deciding which Vimshottari will work better for the individual. Okay? So who can use the regular dasha? You know, what we call market Vimshottari, right?
Yes.
Janma Vimshottari. If you have moon in your Kendra from Lagna or Kona from the Lagna, then you belong to the Janma Vimshottari group, smiley face. So look for the smiley face. If your moon sign is in Kendra or in Kona, then you belong to the Janma Vimshottari group. All right? These are 6 houses, right? So half the zodiac is covered here.
Right.
So half the population is covered by Janma Vimshottari. Congratulations. So for the other half of the population, I am sorry. All right? Market Dasha will not do justice to you.
Right.
All right? Your moon has fallen outside the lotus. All right? The lotus is sitting in the pond, yes?
Yeah.
And the four Kendra Bhava are the lotus petals, the four petals of the lotus. The Kona is where the sunlight is going to come from into the lotus. And the rest are in water.
Right.
Okay? They're in water.
Right.
And so half the population will have their moon in another place than in Kendra or Kona. And they're the ones where Vimshottari is not really working.
Right.
So half of people will say Vimshottari works. Half of people will say, I don't think Vimshottari is working in my case. All right. The Dasha is not somehow working in my case. So how to figure out what to do with such people? Okay. Firstly, what do we say about Kendra Kona? This is where all the food is coming from, right? Kendra, food, Kona, knowledge. This is where you get the knowledge and the food. So these people are in the receiving end of the universe. They're very lucky. They're sitting in the pond waiting for either the sunlight or the petals to open, and all things are good and fine in the world. Okay? Right. But then what happens if moon is in your 3rd or 11th house? So if the moon is in 3rd from Lagna or 11th from Lagna, your Utpanna Vimshottari will work much better. It will be more accurate. It will be more precise. And then somebody will say, I have moon over there, but I thought my Janma Vimshottari, like all the others in the Kendra Kona, that other group, the other half of the population, it seemed that it worked for me as well. And I will say, it may work for certain events. Janma Vimshottari has to provide food in this planet. Okay? So for everybody where the topic is food, okay, what does food imply? Wealth and health. Wealth and health. Okay, these two topics. Janma Vimshottari, Moon Vimshottari will always work. If somebody's asking me about their finances, I open Janma Vimshottari. I don't even think. I just said, aha, Moon, look for Moon Vimshottari, done, open. I don't even think I start opening that. Somebody asks me about their health, I open regular Janma Vimshottari. But for everything else, I will say, I'm sorry, I cannot use the Janma Vimshottari for that individual. Okay? Okay. So that is how we can be specific about the use of Dasha. So if the moon is in 3rd or 11th house, for all the important facets of a person's life, I'm going to use Utpanna Vimshottari. And I depicted a flower. Actually, I wanted a lotus, Brahma's lotus. Right. I wanted Pushkara because I wanted to depict that these people are always very creative, moon in 3rd or 11th. Right. All right? They work so hard, they create so many things. Okay, extremely creative. All right. So that is Utpanna Vimshottari, moon in 3rd or 11th. So for that individual, moon in 3rd or 11th, prefer to calculate moon from the Utpanna star. Prefer. Okay. The results will be more appropriate. And for that individual, Dasha Chidra will be more important from Utpanna Vimshottari, not from the regular.
That's a beautiful point to cover. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. And then, and we already talked about which type of people these are, right? They are very creative, okay? Right. Always creating. 3rd house, very entrepreneuring.
Yeah.
Okay, so moon in 3rd house, very entrepreneuring. Moon in 11th house, not the same. These people are always trying to listen and understand what they have already been taught.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the ones who are listening. What did my guru say? What did my boss say? What did my father say? What did my brother say? What did everybody say? And they're trying to incorporate that. They're trying to use that. They are the ones who are like siddhas. They're trying to master the subject that they've already got to learn about. Okay? So the ones in 3rd, they don't have to have learned it already. They will find that knowledge and relearn it and from whatever they think they want to study. So they're more entrepreneuring. 11th house, what did I already hear? What have I already been taught? How to master that.
So they are more on hearsay rather than asking, rather than being bold. They're more on hearsay.
You could say that, yes. That's right. You could say that. And this is more particularly because the 11th is like Saturn, Aquarius, right?
Right.
So they're more interested in what has already been taught. Shani, the tradition, the parampara. Right. And the 3rd is like Mercury. They say, research, learn something new, figure it out on your own. This is the slight difference that they have. Okay? Yes, slight difference. Then we have the 2nd and 6th. You see this group here? I put a house, right? So this is called Kshema Vimshottari group. So the Kshema Vimshottari group are the most comfortable group. They are so comfortable that all the other zodiac signs will become uncomfortable because they have to be comfortable. All right? They enter a room. If they get an uncomfortable chair, 10 Utpanna Vimshottaris will just stand up and give them their chair. All right? And even if they have to sit on the floor, because Kshema has to be comfortable. All right? If Kshema gets sick, oh my God, so terrible. If Kshema gets sick, the whole house has to be pulled up and moved to a different country or different state to make sure there's better sunlight there or better cold there and fresher air there, more seaside, that kind of thing. If they are not comfortable, everybody else is uncomfortable.
Yes.
Okay? That is Kshema group. But they have this power. Wherever they go, they will always get the most comfort because people will just do for them. All right?
Right.
They're very good that way. If you manage to hang out with this Kshema person, then your life will be very easy and comfortable. Okay? Yeah. Yes. And then there's the Adana group. They're in the bed, right? What could this be? Either they're asleep or it's their deathbed, right? Either of the two. It could be anything like that. Or it's a place where the child is being born, right? Birthing bed. It could even be. All three are applicable. All three beds are applicable here. All right?
Right.
Yes. And because they're in this state, they need some help. Now, if you ask me, both Kshema need help and Adana need help. If you ask me. Okay? And Utpanna is the best to give them that help. Okay. Similarly, these Utpanna are so creative that they need these two other groups to somehow stabilize them. All right? The only ones who are good on their own is this Janma group. Janma group, they're like normal human beings. All right?
Okay.
They think these other guys are wasting their time. And honestly, when the way I depicted this, and the way I have also studied this, these Janma group are the only ones who actually know what to do here in Bhuloka. All right?
Okay.
They're the ones who really understand Bhuloka. They really understand. They are made for it. Okay? Whereas these others, they are somewhere else. They're somehow not in touch with reality. So because their kala, their time, their concept of time is different, they need a different dasha to depict that time.
Right.
And this is how we distinguish between them. And then I give a fifth variation. The variation which topsy-turvies all the others. Okay? There is something called Kevala Vimshottari. All right? Okay. And this happens if the Lord of the moon sign, so that means wherever this moon was, any house, any sign, it doesn't matter anymore. If the Lord of that sign, the Lord of the moon sign is called Shubhapati, by the way, right? Because moon is most Shubha and his Pati is the Shubhapati, which is the Lord of the moon sign. If that planet, which is that Lord of the moon sign, becomes the Chara Atmakaraka,
okay,
then clean bold, you just wipe that slate clean of the chart and you calculate the Vimshottari from that Graha, which is the Atmakaraka. This chart, forget it, clean. Atmakaraka is king. He has decided that this is the life. So you could have moon in, let's say, Gemini, yes?
Yes.
It could be in third house. It could be in second. It could be in fourth. Doesn't matter. If Mercury, who's the Lord of Gemini, is the Atmakaraka, the Chara Atmakaraka in the chart, draw the Vimshottari, calculate the Vimshottari from Mercury's degree, and you will read the person's life accurately. Because the Atma has now dominated over the chart. He's saying, all this looking for food and trying to solve these other things in this planet, no way, not doing. Okay?
Okay.
We have a higher purpose. Now, there's a prediction given in the Shastra. I think it's Saravali. Is it Saravali? I have to look. If the Atma Karaka is the Lord of the moon sign, then the person is going to have happiness in middle life. And we add to that, it is because the person is going to be associating with very important people to do important projects for society.
Could we please just have it once more?
If the Atma Karaka is the Lord of the moon sign,
yes,
the person has happiness in middle life. Now, why they say middle life? That's because moon rules the second part of life.
Right.
Okay. Lagna is beginning, moon is middle, sun is end. Okay. Now, And then it said, then we learn in the tradition. This is actually a Rajasambandha yoga also. The person will have a grand purpose for society. All right? And will want to achieve, will associate with people whom are very highly placed to achieve these grand purposes of society. Now, I'm going to give you the easy one. Okay? The person is going to be a king. What type of king depends on that planet, which is the Atma Karaka. King of scholars, king of astrologers, king of kings, king of servants, king of the house, king of the swimming pools, king of the life vests, king of some king. There'll be some king. Okay? They are going to reach a very high pivot position. And they are reaching that position because they want to do something great for society.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, your moon is your connection to society. And that is why the moon's Vimshottari is so important. It is your connection with society. We are not just measuring your karma, we're measuring your interaction with society.
Yeah.
Okay? And if the Atma Karaka is dominating this interaction, it means that it's as if the soul has entered and said, I want to do something grand, something that people are not doing in this planet. So therefore, on the top it says here, Shubhapati as Atma Karaka. Om. Very grand purpose. Not normal people. Okay? They're just not normal. And are they part of society? No, even the Janma group is still smarter than them. Because this Janma group knows what this Boloka is about. This Atma Karaka has decided to do something which is beyond this planet. So, I was going to say, so these are the 5 versions of the Dasha. 4 as per Jataka Parijata, and we add one in the tradition, which will trump all of them. Okay?
Right.
So,
Shubham.
on this, I now bring an example. This is my chart. Okay? So now people can see how old or young I am over here. All right? And so I have my moon placed in the 11th house, right? Scorpio Lagna, moon in Virgo. So it's the 11th house.
Okay.
So if we went by the previous slide, if we go one step back, 11th house means use the flower one. The flower one is Utpana. Okay?
Yes.
So then I will use Utpana Vimshottari. And the regular Vimshottari will not work, according to this.
Right.
But then you see moon is in Virgo, right?
Yes.
And we say Virgo is lorded by Mercury.
Yes.
In our tradition, we also add moon is also lorded by Rahu. Oh.
Okay.
So then we have to check. Who is the Atma Karaka? Mercury, is it Atma Karaka? It's BK. So no, it cannot be. Is Rahu Atma Karaka? AK. Hello? Special? Maybe Visti has some special purpose in society. Maybe he has some special ideas. Maybe. Yes. All right. Rahu, king of foreigners. I don't think that's a kingship. That doesn't work. All right. I don't think that's possible. Something to do with Rahu, right? Something to do with that. So if I now go to the next slide, we can see some way that the dashas are shown. Now, on the next slide, I just took some events in my life and I put down. Sri Jyotishta is very nice. We can list the events clearly with Dasha, Antadasha, Pratyantadasha very nicely. And I compared 2 versions of Vimshottari. I took it from regular moon. Why did I do it from regular moon? Because somebody will say, no, Visti, I'm sure Vimshottari can work for everybody. Normal Vimshottari will work for everybody. You know, you stick to your book and you just keep looking at that book, and you swear by that book. So I was going to show, well, this is how my regular Vimshottari works. And this is what happens when I use Vimshottari from Rahu, Atma Karaka. Okay?
Right.
So one event here that have transpired is I was married in Rahu Dasha, Saturn Antadasha. Okay?
Right.
So if you looked at the regular chart with this regular Vimshottari and you saw my 7th house was lorded by Venus, right? And Venus is over here. And you are going to think, well, what happened? Venus is in Jupiter's sign, in exchange with Jupiter. So maybe Jupiter should give. But then you're still looking to see how did Rahu or Saturn have any say in it? So I'm seeing here that the dilemma is coming from that when you see the regular Vimshottari, that Rahu and Saturn don't have a clear influence on my 7th house. Okay? So it's very hard to depict how did marriage happen in this time, this Venus, how did it show up? But if you see this Rahu Vimshottari, right? Atma Karaka Vimshottari, I'm going to call it. Yeah. Then my wedding happened in Mercury Mahadasha, Venus Antadasha. Straight shot, right? Somebody will say, okay, yes, yes. Even if they didn't see my 7th house, they'd say Venus can give marriage, right?
Right.
Yes. So that was an easy one.
Hmm.
And then I had a son. My eldest son is CS. So again, Rahu Saturn. All right. A year later, again, a bit more than a year later, again, Rahu Saturn. Still, so 5th lord is Jupiter. Jupiter is over here. How did that happen? At most, maybe you'll say Jupiter's joined Mercury or Jupiter's in Parivartana with Venus, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Son was born in Mercury Dasha, Venus Antardasha using Atma Vimshottari. Straight shot. Easy peasy.
Yes.
Okay? Easy peasy. But I will admit, somebody will say, look, Visti, Saturn is in 11th, it's aspecting 5th. Maybe its Dasha can give kids. I won't say no. I will say, okay, fine. Good justification. And then my second son, last child, is born during Ketu Antardasha. Okay? So maybe people will wonder again, how did Ketu link to the 5th house?
Yeah.
And then when we go over here, we see that it was Rahu Antardasha. Rahu is having drishti on the 5th house. Okay.
Yes.
Easy peasy aspect. Even the 5th lord is joined Mercury. Mercury Mahadasha, Rahu Antardasha. So what I wanted to show is that it's quite clear that the dashas make a lot more sense if I use the variation of Vimshottari for my chart. All right. Now I'm showing my chart, but I use this on clients' charts every day. Every day I'm using this. Okay. And this is also going to tell me a few more things. When you choose this correct Vimshottari, you get to know whom you're meeting. Why? The Antardasha shows who do you meet.
Okay. That's a beautiful point that most of us did not know. The Antardasha shows a beautiful point.
It shows whom is it I am meeting. And if I know the quality of the person I'm meeting, I can know what will be the outcome of our meeting. Okay? The Pratyanta Dasha shows the event which is happening. I may meet, but I may not, the event itself may not transpire, okay, right away. So the Pratyanta Dasha tells me when the eventual meeting when the eventual event happens of the meeting or of something else, a project which starts in whichever meeting with the person I've had, what will be the outcome of that project which starts? Okay. So this is the method of when you have the right Vimshottari, then you should check these things. Okay? Because the correct Vimshottari will always tell you what will be the outcome of these meetings or of these events. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is so beautiful.
Yeah, so we've seen five variations of calculation of the Vimshottari Dasha here. It's mind-boggling and yet very, very beautiful.
But notice I don't use them all. I select one and I use only that. See, for me, there's a choice. Either use Utpana or Atma Vimshottari. And then I gave the condition. Atma will dominate, always. Always, he will just wipe everything, every exception out and say, I'm king, I'm deciding. Atma Karaka. And please make sure that for Virgo, use Rahu as the Lord. And for also Aquarius, use Rahu as the Lord. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, because Virgo, Rahu is Swakshetra also.
I have learned that the Swa for Rahu is Kumbha and the Multrikona is Kanya. And I've seen different variations of the same shloka, but this is what we use in the tradition.
So what would you do for Ketu? Just to get the point clear, what would you use for Ketu?
So Ketu cannot become Atmakaraka, but Ketu will have Swakshetra for Vrishika and Multrikona in Meena, because his job is to give moksha. Yeah. Job. Multrikona is the job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for but for the areas where it can call it its own.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
So this was an interesting take on the divisions of Vimshottari Dashas. How you can modulate that which Vimshottari Dasha actually gives us, because at the end of the day, we all, as Vishti said, want to time events in our life, find a muhurta so that we can make plans how to do certain things which will give us the best results. So we would know when we are going to meet somebody who will actually help us growing up in life one way or the other. So this, for that, Vishti helped us, telling us about the 5, just the 5, as he said later on, because there are so many more variations. Continue on the series for the last segment with Vishti on Dasha Chidra, a very interesting and yet something never heard of before. Thank you so much, Vishti, on this.